Hey, folks, hello, hello, hello. It is Moscow Mitch Monday. I am Aaron Viles coming at you from, we're actually on Harrodsburg Road, right outside of where Mitch's Lexington campaign office, or Lexington office is, his constituents' offices. We've been here for the past hour and a half or so, actually 2 hours. We've been holding up signs to the traffic on Harrodsburg Road, letting people know that Mitch has got to go, letting people know that he needs to fight for that $600 a week in that unemployment insurance, federal support of unemployment insurance for the coronavirus relief, which, you know, he's failed miserably on. We had a great turnout. I think upwards of 30 folks showed up to kind of spread the word. We had a great event outside of Mitch's office, if you hadn't seen that. But then the police came, and there was a complaint because it's a privately owned space, and Mitch, even though Mitch is our senator, he's in a privately owned building, so people complained about us being there to talk to our senator, and the police came and made us leave. So things got a little bit scattered, but we're excited to do Moscow Mitch Monday. A little bit of an IRL element to it this week. But I want to just touch base on a few things we'll be doing this episode. We're talking about our 5K for KY campaign. We're going to do Mitch in the news, of course. We've got a call to action. We've got a couple of interviews. We're going to have Cathy Hobart Spicer from Moms Demand Action and Ella McCutcheon from Students Demand Action. So some of the key bills that are dying right now on the Grim Reaper's desk are some gun safety bills that the House passed thanks to Moms Demand Action. And we are not seeing action there because of Mitch. So we wanted to give them an opportunity to share their information. But yeah, so that's what we're doing today. I think, if we can work out all the technical challenges. But I do know we got a couple of folks in the studio or in front of their laptops, which is a little bit different than coming at you from their mobile phones. And so we'll do a quick round of, we're going to do a quick round of introductions. What's your name? What's your sign say? I actually left my sign. So I was holding a sign that said, save the 600, hashtag ditch Mitch. So that's what my sign said. Who else do we have there?
Yes, my sign says today, I didn't make it today, but my sign says, Mitch, go away. Hashtag Mitch, go away. That's what my sign says today.
That's great.
And my sign says, GTFO, Mitch. Wait a minute. He's already gone. Where did he go? Why are they having a recess for a month whenever we are still struggling to get our unemployment? Where'd you go, Mitch? You're not doing your job.
Yeah, that's a good one. And that actually feeds, thank you, Samantha Jean. And Kimberly, thank you guys so much for being here tonight as we're juggling some, some new challenges with this protest directly into our live stream. So yeah, we're going to do Mitch in the news, and he has been in the news quite a bit because he's, not doing anything, as Samantha Jean
we forgot somebody.
Just noted. Oh my God, he's here. Nate's here. What? All right. Last I saw Nate, he was, packing up his musical equipment and being harassed by police. So I just assumed he wasn't going to make it. But yeah, go ahead, Nate. What's your sign say?
Thanks, Aaron. You can see I'm here in the parking lot over from the building that Mitch connives and does evil in. And my sign tonight says, hey, Mitch, you suck as a public servant. Kentucky's going to serve you a steaming bowl of retirement.
Ooh. Delicious.
That's so good. A steaming bowl of retirement.
I like it. I like it.
Sounds a little nasty, honestly. I don't want that. That's for sure. All right, so we are doing Mitch in the news, and Samantha Jean just kind of mentioned it. So the Senate left, right? So under Mitch's amazing leadership, they did not get a deal. So nothing on unemployment, nothing on eviction, nothing to stimulate the economy. They didn't get anything done. Congress and the White House have spent the past few weeks debating what to include in the package in terms of size There were folks saying, the House was saying, let's, they passed the bill. They sent a very clear message of what they wanted in their package. The HEROES Act is a $3 trillion package that had a lot of really important things for folks. The Republicans said, we're going to do $1 trillion and no more. And then Mitch was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm outie. So the Democrats were pushing for more than $900 billion for state and municipal aid, $60 billion in food assistance. Republicans didn't want any of that. And then Speaker Pelosi has said the two sides are not going to strike a deal unless Republicans, meet in the middle, right? So that's how negotiations typically work. One side says $3 trillion, the other side says $2 trillion, $1 trillion. We say, all right, let's do $2 trillion. That's the middle. And the House, House is like, we'll have that conversation. Bring us $2 trillion and we'll talk about it. And the Senate Republicans will not bring that package because they are just useless. They have no leadership. Mitch McConnell's not doing anything worthwhile. And then, we have these executive orders that have happened, which have kind of confused things. But he has Trump issued one executive order aimed at eviction, which doesn't really do anything, even though 40 million Americans could face eviction in the coming weeks because of the lack of the unemployment insurance benefit. So that's kind of where we are right now. Mitch has failed miserably. Anyone who, thinks Mitch is some amazing leader and needs to be back in there for another 6 years clearly is not paying attention. So let's spread the word about how Mitch is failing Kentucky, the folks who are unemployed, the folks who are facing eviction. Mitch does nothing for them. So that's my story. I think we have Kimberly up next with a news story.
Well, I have some news here from Cuomo and Beshear. And a lot of people don't know this, but Cuomo, the governor of New York, is actually the president of governors, actually. So Andy Beshear, our beloved governor here in Kentucky, and Andrew Cuomo were talking, and they're both saying that Trump's executive order with unemployment will not work. Actually, right here in Kentucky, we are cash strapped because of COVID, because of the unemployment numbers. And actually, Andy said to us that each month, if we were to spend the 25% of the $400, which is $100, for Kentucky, it would be $48 to $60 million per month. I'm sure that Mitch McConnell has that in his bank account, so he can at least help us with just a few months. And then whatever he can't take care of, his really, really, really rich wife and family can take care of the rest for Kentucky. That's what public servants do, don't they, Aaron?
Well, public servants, sure. But Mitch and his wife are not in it for us. They don't serve the public. They serve themselves. But yeah, it's sweet that you would think that, Kimberly. All right, so good story about the National Governors Association President Andrew Cuomo and our governor agreeing that Trump's executive order is a big waste of paper and puts states in a horrible spot on that unemployment insurance. And then other issues that Mitch is failing us on. Nate, do you have a story for us?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me okay? All right.
Yep.
So this one is a riff on a Joe Girth column in the Louisville Courier-Journal this past Friday, August 14th. And that column's title is Trump Wants to Destroy the United States Postal Service. McConnell Needs to Stop it. Okay, so last Thursday, President Trump did an interview on Fox News in which he implied that he would try to block additional funding to the Postal Service because, to quote Joe Girth, he feared additional funds the agency receives could be used to process and deliver mail-in ballots for this year's November election. So, never mind that many states successfully do this already, including, red states, Montana, Arizona, Utah. They had more than 60% of their 2018 midterm election votes cast by mail, according to the Washington Post. B, there is no credible evidence of mail-in ballot fraud, just none. And C, Trump himself usually votes by mail. As Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer put it in a press release on Friday, the president's own words confirm he needs to cheat to win. So what does this have to do with Mitch McConnell? Everything. This is just the latest in a long stream of Trump assaults on democracy that Mitch has had the opportunity to address in the Senate. Mitch could do it. He has it within his power to get the Senate Republicans to pass a postal service funding bill that would make it that for any state that wants to implement voting by mail, the Postal Service then would have resources to accommodate the corresponding increase in mail volume. That kind of makes sense, huh? Let's take a second to address this mistaken notion that the Postal Service somehow needs to pay for itself as if it were a private business. Is there any other critical component of government that has that same expectation? I mean, Department of Transportation, Elaine Chao, who's she married to, they get by with federal and non-federal grants, loans, revenue sources, taxes. Department of Defense, 100% discretionary and paid for by, taxes. But the U.S. Postal Service, zero tax dollars. For some reason, that service, so vital to you, me, and us all, it's expected to pay its own way all the way. And who benefits the most from a functioning postal service? Well, if you ask me, I would say it's people that live in rural areas. I'd say from Carlisle County to Harlan, from Owen County to McCreary, over 70% of Kentucky counties are designated rural by the Health Resources and Services Administration. So who exactly is going to get screwed by diminished postal service? The answer, most of Mitch's counties. So can we count on our senior senator to step up for the Postal Service and for the Commonwealth? Or is he going to do what he's been doing all along, and when it comes to doing right by all of us, he just mails it in?
That's great. Yeah, thanks for bringing that to our attention, Nate. That's a really critical issue. Actually, I met a woman today at the protest who, her dad was a mail carrier. So she grew up, had a roof over her head, meals on the table because of her dad, who was a postal carrier. And the way they're treating the post office right now is really troubling. There's a big National Day of Action on Saturday. I think there will be events happening in the Lexington area, so if people want to get involved, they'll defend the post office. Because I'll tell you what, it looks a lot like voter suppression. If we got a pandemic and people can't vote safely, and if they want to vote, they want to vote by mail, and you've got somebody monkeying around with the mail, sounds like voter suppression to me. But we had some other very big news this week about voting. Samantha Jean, can you clue us in?
So let's talk about voter suppression. What the heck is happening with voting in Kentucky? Luckily, Governor Andy Beshear and Secretary of State Michael Adams have reached a bipartisan agreement regarding the November election in Kentucky. We had a very successful primary turnout with record numbers of voters using mail-in ballots to cast their vote. It was a great system, and it was very successful in getting folks to vote safely. So what exactly are our options for this upcoming election? So we are going to have absentee voting again, very much like what we had with the primaries, and you are able to select COVID-19 as a reason for requesting an absentee ballot. So kind of all you've got to do is just say that you are afraid of getting the sickness and you can receive that ballot. So an online portal will launch by Friday, August 21st. That's in just a couple of days, to allow Kentuckians to request an absentee ballot by mail. Ballots can be requested through the portal through October 19th. After that date, voters would have to contact their county clerk directly. If you mail back your ballot, it must be postmarked by Election Day, November 3rd. But please do not wait until then, because we're so concerned about our postal services being suppressed. Many people have said that you should actually get your ballots postmarked by October 21st to ensure that it is actually there on time. If you would rather drop off your ballot to be sure that it is received, drop boxes will be available in each county. Fingers crossed. County clerks will determine these locations, and the state is helping to purchase additional drop boxes for counties to use. But there's another option, which a lot of people don't know about yet: early in-person voting. So beginning October 13th and lasting until Election Day, every county clerk will provide a location for safe in-person early voting. The location will be open every weekday during business hours and every Saturday for at least 4 hours. Unlike absentee voting, voters do not have to have a reason to early vote. Anyone can vote early for any reason. And then Election Day in-person voting. County election officials will decide election sites for election day voting. And so it's very important for you to stay informed and finding out where your election day voting poll station is, because it might have changed from where it has been in the past. Every county will have at least one voting super center where everyone from the county can go and vote regardless of his or her precinct. Now, be sure to have an updated ID so that you can prove your identity at the polls. This is a new provision that has not been used in the past. But if you were unable to get an ID because of COVID-19, there is a provisional document that you can sign explaining your reasoning, and you should still be able to cast your ballot. So basically, it's just really important to know your rights and be prepared for this election. Do everything you can to make sure you can cast your vote. Have a plan, whether it's for absentee voting, early voting, or if you plan to vote in person. Be prepared and make sure that your voice is heard. Personally, I am a little disappointed with this ID requirement. There are, of course, current and upcoming concerns about people being evicted and therefore not having an address or having a temporary address. I personally have moved since the primaries, and now I'm having to re-register to vote in my new county. I do have some fears about how that process is going to go, and I hope that I won't have any problems, but I have a plan. First of all, I am going to call my county clerk and just ask a few questions to clear up any concerns. Early voting begins on October 13th, but voter registration must be completed before October 5th, so don't wait. I do need to register and get my ID before then. So if you have moved recently, make sure that you re-register before October 5th. But I am making my appointment to vote on October 13th. That's the way that I'm going to go this time. I feel like the post office at this point, I'm just unsure about the whole process, unfortunately, and so I am planning to vote early. Whatever you choose, make a plan now. Get informed. Make sure that you are registered. If you have any doubt or any concerns, contact your county clerk. Don't wait. Have a plan. Go with your friends and your family. Ask your loved ones if they have a plan. Make this a group effort. Make your voices heard. Do not wait to clear up any potential problems. Make sure you are prepared for this election. Vote early, vote by mail, or make sure that you have everything you need, including an updated ID, in order to vote in person without problems. Good luck.
Well, thanks, Samantha Jean. Thank you so much for that. And I think on this schedule we had who up next? I'm just quickly looking at it. Sorry, live TV. Aaron. But no. Okay, so how about?
You can't hear me?
We can hear you.
You can hear me now? Hey, all right, I'm back. All right, so that was really good news. Thank you so much, Samantha Jean. We are really excited about voting. Glad to see that Michael Adams was able to, be reasonable, and that we've got Andy Bashir fighting for us. One thing, one final story. This is kind of I don't know if it's a fun story. I think it's a story I just have to tell. So if you're like me and you pay attention to this election way too closely, and you pay attention on social media, you will see there's a lot of folks who think that, there's a lot of kind of sour grapes left over from the primary. There's folks who are like questioning whether, Amy's got the stomach for this or whatever. And a lot of people criticizing her campaign. It's always easy to criticize. Always easy to criticize. The only person I think we should be criticizing right now is Mitch McConnell, right? That's the guy we should be criticizing. Of course, we started a campaign to do that. But what I saw today in the news, or yesterday in the news, I think should make it easier for people to find their way to Amy and support Amy, because she recently demoted her campaign manager. She brought on a new campaign manager. So Mark Nicholas has been her longtime campaign manager. I think Dan Canyon recently joined the campaign. He was the state director for former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg's presidential campaign. He did a lot of work for Hillary Clinton. He was a state director person for Obama's reelection campaign. This guy's been in Democratic politics for a really long time, run a lot of statewide efforts, and is coming to help breathe some new life and some new fire into Amy McGrath's campaign. And I think that's a great, it's time for a shakeup. We need to put more energy into that campaign. I think, I think she's got what it takes to beat Mitch. And I think that, when more people see her, the more they will learn about how fantastic she is. But I'm very hopeful that this new campaign manager will bring some new ideas to get that information out to voters so they make their decision. So that was some news that we had from the campaign trail. Not really about Mitch, but about, Mitch's opponent for November 3rd. And then I think we're going to do our call to action. So I think Kimberly's bringing on the call to action this week.
Well, Mitch McConnell needs to act on the looming unemployment and the eviction crises that is about to come forth in front of us. And he needs to do something right now. And what you can do is you can go to Mitch McConnell's Facebook page and his Twitter page. And how about this? You're going to do whatever you want to say, and then you're going to do hashtag save the 600, because we have the money. Believe me, we have the money. And also we're going to put on there, let me make sure I get it because I love this. I've been singing it all week. Hashtag Mitch better have my money. Mitch better have my money. Yeah, Mitch better have my money. And also I want you to put on their hashtag, want to make sure I'm right, small biz needs not corporate greed. Small biz.
Hey, Cathy, do you have Zoom on your phone? Do you want to try to log? Oh, okay. Then let's not worry about that.
Small biz needs not corporate greed.
I go. You're absolutely right, Kimberly. I love those hashtags. They're amazing. Are we good? And so that's fantastic with that call to action. Yes, everything Kimberly said is awesome. Those hashtags are great. And let's talk about another thing that we can do. So I want to talk about the 5,000 voter project. So this is a special voter turnout initiative put forth by the Mitch McConnell Retirement Committee. And we want to see if we can get a grassroots movement going that is dedicated to registering 5,000 new voters who are dedicated to voting for Amy McGrath and ending the reign of Mitch McConnell. He has been in office for 35 years and he has done nothing to help the people of Kentucky. Our Commonwealth is one of the poorest states in the nation, but Mitch McConnell has literally become a millionaire while in office. We can't be doing that, Kentucky. We cannot handle 6 more years of Mitch. So if you are committed to voting him out of office and you want to do your part, please check out the 5,000 Voters for Kentucky project. We are searching for 33 volunteers who can dedicate just 5 hours a week for the next 6 weeks. We've just got 6 weeks until Election Day, guys. So we need those 33 volunteers working to get voters registered. All you have to do is click the link. It's going to be in the bio. Tell us your availability and we will send you all the information you need to become a grassroots recruiter for change. Click the link. Check it out.
Cathy, Hobart, Spicer, and Ella McCutcheon Ella is with the Frankfurt High School chapter of Students Demand Action, and Cathy is with Moms Demand Action. And I'm not sure, what's your role? I'm
the local group lead for the Frankfurt group.
Okay, so Cathy is the local group lead for the Frankfurt group of Moms Demand Action. They're both out here with us today for the protest. Really excited to have a conversation with them. I'm not 100% sure how we're going to do the questions. I think I'll probably just have to take them all. But first off, what did your sign say today? So the sign you were holding up, what did it say?
Well, I had one sign that said, ditch Mitch, disarm hate. And the other one said, change gun laws or change Congress, no more McConnell.
That's good.
So,
okay. Yeah, that's good. Ella, what's your sign say?
I didn't have a sign. Shut up with my speech.
Ella was a little late. She, we missed some of the... Gotcha. All right, so what we're going to do now is just run through a few questions.
Did we lose him?
Please stand by. We are experiencing technical difficulties. My phone is working. I'm not, he may be nearby. Let's take a little walk across the parking lot here. Yes. This is live television.
I believe Mitch McConnell has something to do with this. You know how they are. Because he better have my money.
Mm-hmm.
We are currently experiencing some technical difficulties, and we're trying to get back to Aaron Biles and Cathy Hobart and Ella McCutcheon, who are somewhere nearby. As you folks may know, we started this out with an in-person protest here. There's the building in the back. In the shadow, the very shadow of Mitch McConnell's Lexington office, and spent about an hour or so waving signs.
About March for Our Lives.
Oh, I think we may hear someone again.
Somehow I think it's the main act. And it's something that I've just always kind of cared about. And once I learned more and I got more involved and I looked into starting a chapter, the more I learned, the more horrified I was, passionate. I've been working with people in Frankfurt, people in I'm also a leader for Kentucky's virtual field office, which
we're still having
really fantastic experience.
That's great. Cathy, specifically, how is gun violence a particular problem in the Commonwealth of Kentucky?
As I said a few minutes ago, quite a large problem with suicide in Kentucky, even greater than the United States. And about 68% of gun deaths in Kentucky, over 200 a year, are suicide.
We may just have to leave the interview behind because of technical difficulties and jump right into the last couple of segments.
Can we do our own, like, you know, our in-studio protest?
Oh, yeah, by all means.
Mitch better have my money. Better pay me what you owe me.
I hear you, Kimberly. I hear you. Well, I think that
what you owe me.
Yes, girl. Yes.
He's been taken from Kentuckians for 36 years. He needs to do his damn job, period.
Absolutely right.
He needs to go. He needs to take his walker and walk on into the sunset.
Bipartisan support in both the House and the Senate. Most people in the United States want this legislation, like back gun sales, and he just won't bring it to the floor.
I wish that we could hear or see better about her interview, but if anybody is looking to get more information, this group is called Moms Demand Action, and they have been really active this year. They've actually done a couple of protests in Frankfurt at the Rotunda, and I understand that a lot of people in Kentucky, a lot of conservatives are pro-gun, and I just am putting that out there as a Democrat or a liberal. I'm not anti-gun. I'm not. I would actually probably consider myself a pro-gun Democrat, or I just want to like tell people that nobody is trying to take your guns away. That's not really the issue of what we're like pushing here, but I think that what we need is common sense gun laws. But even besides that, even just ignoring even the legislation about guns at all, we need to recognize what the real problem is and understand where gun violence stems from. And I think that just one thing that we could say is just talking about poverty. Poverty is a huge cause for violence in America, and we need to understand that the situation that we are getting ourselves into, that Mitch McConnell is putting us into, while people are going to be evicted from their homes, we're losing unemployment, they don't have safe jobs to go to, poverty is going to just grow and grow in the Commonwealth, and we're already one of the poorest states in the nation. So this is a massive concern because we have open carry laws that pretty much anybody in Kentucky is allowed to just hold and carry a gun, and the fact that tensions are becoming so high because poverty is such a very real concern in our state right now, and it's only going to get worse. Mitch McConnell could have passed legislation to fix all of this, but instead he left for an entire month. What do you think is going to happen in a month while people are not getting any, their unemployment, that extra money, that extra $600 is gone. There are not jobs for families to rely on right now. Our entire futures are just up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen. And Mitch could have prevented that uneasiness, that unrest, but now we are moving into a full month of we have no idea what is going to happen. And we can only expect that gun violence is going to be an increased problem. And these sort of things need to be addressed. And if we start having more violence in the streets, more, home invasions and robberies because people are going to be destitute and desperate, I mean, what can we expect? Blood is going to be on Mitch McConnell's hands. We can blame him for any upcoming violence that we might see in the Commonwealth because we just don't know what's going to happen in the next month while we are waiting for them to come back from vacation and do their jobs. That's all I got to say about that.
Everybody, thank you for viewing with us tonight. We want you to make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter at MMRC 2020. That stands for Mitch McConnell Retirement Committee 2020. This is the year, MMRC 2020. We put out a challenge last week, or should I say, I personally put out a challenge last week that we would have 2,000 likes by Wednesday. Well, much to my chagrin, you haven't heard that word in a long time, have you? We need 500 more. I'm counting on you to make sure that all your friends like the page, that all your friends are engaged in the page. If you know that Mitch better have your money, I can't leave it alone, I'm sorry, you guys. If Mitch better have your money, okay, save the 600, be about the businesses, be about gun laws that make sense for everyone. I'm a Second Amendment person myself. However, Mitch McConnell is not doing his job. It's all about power and money. So make sure you like our page. We'll keep you up to date on everything, and join us here every Monday at 7 p.m. How about that, Samantha? What do you think?
How about that, Kimberly? Mitch better have my money. And if y'all have just a little bit of money, we understand that times are tight right now, but everybody knows how this works. In order for us to keep doing this and keep spreading this information, keep registering voters, we need a little bit of money too. So I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Ken and Couchfire Media for helping to make our live stream go in. We did have some problems today, but we're all learning in this process. So please help us continue to make that better. If you got a little bit of cash, we have a secure ActBlue little donation portal that you can click on, send us a little bit of money, and help to keep this going. So thank you all so much. Give us a like, give us a little money, and help us get Mitch McConnell out of office.